Barbeck is a proud sponsor of local H&R Preps.
Kelly, I just got a new cell phone. It's awesome. And I just shot a video of Nick at the game tonight. Oh my God, he is so cute. I'll send it to you right now.
We help you stay connected with a cute picture here and there. Buy local. Buy Barbeck.
Hello and welcome to this week's Preps Preview alongside Justin Conn. I'm Leroy Bridges. Postseason edition. Playoffs start up on Friday. A big week of football for us. I think between the two of us, we're going to be covering 5 games, each one on Friday night, and I'm covering 2 on Saturday. You're doing 1 along with cross country. It's an exciting time of year.
Yeah, big time football going on right now. Let's get right into it with the top 5.
Sounds good to me.
Leroy, why don't you start us off this week? Yeah.
I have a ton of movement in mine. Shocker, right? Don't compare it to last week's, please. Otherwise, you'd probably send in some emails hating on me. But checking in at number 5 this week, St. Teresa. A big reason why I've got some movement is I got to see Mount Zion, and I couldn't leave them out of my top 5. I kind of woke up finally, saw the Braves, and they were impressive. I'll get to them in a second. But at 5 is St. Teresa. 4, MAROA-FORSYTH. I kind of flipped them at the last second last week, but I've now reflipped them again. It's just magic. I can't really explain how it works in my brain, but it works that way. Mount Zion at 3. Again, really impressed by what the Braves do. Running the ball, Jack McIntosh, pretty underrated quarterback in our area. I think his speed gives them an extra dynamic that's just something special. Number 2, TUSCOLA. PANA Panthers, still on top at number 1. They've got a big playoff game coming up Friday night. Big time matchup for them. What's your top 5 look like?
You know,
probably the same old.
Mine is the exact same as it was last week. I actually have the same list sitting right in front of me right now. I mean, there really was nothing last week that happened in a game.
A lot happened in my brain.
That changed a lot, you know, in my mind, I guess.
Sure.
Number 5, MAROA. You know, I think that they could be really. They have a tough playoff road, but they're the kind of team that can make it through that playoff run. Number 4, Mount Zion. They're all of a sudden. I have them behind what you have, which I've had them on my top 5 most of the year.
That's right.
That's the first time I think for you.
I was really impressed with them.
They're impressive. They're good to look at. Number 3, CASEY. You know, they're undefeated.
I dropped them out of mine.
They only had now. You know, I thought about dropping them out actually because they have only beaten one, you know, good team. But at the same time, you know, you look at their first round opponent, which we'll talk about in a minute, and they have a run. They're gonna want to run. It's set up for them a little bit, so you got to have them on there. Number 2, PANA. Number 1, TUSCOLA. Just like I've had for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, pretty traditional right there. Just looking ahead to the playoffs, by now, just about everybody's kind of given their 2 cents on what the brackets look like and what the matchups are. We're going to just kind of throw a couple predictions out there of what we expect in week 1 coming up here with the first slate of games. Justin, what are a couple things that you think are for sure going to happen this weekend?
Well, first I'm going to talk about Central A&M. I thought they might get a home game. They end up traveling to Salt Fork to Jamaica, I believe, which I've never been there.
Not the Hawaiian
Not the island of Jamaica. I want to make sure that's clear for everybody that's not on the island of Jamaica, right? So they go there. You know, you can sort of compare it a little bit maybe to the MAROA-Bismarck hitting game last year. It's a team from the Okaw and a team from the Vermilion Valley Conference. And I know Salt Fork's had some really good teams. They've been a kind of a playoff staple here the last few years, but I just think that the Okaw is a better conference.
Sure.
And A&M is probably going to put it on Salt Fork this week. But you know, we don't know a lot about them. We haven't seen them, but at the same time, I just feel like, you know, the speed and the power of the players in the Okaw, it's another level to the Vermilion Valley.
Yeah, and maybe a trend here. Both of mine are Okaw related. The first one, MAROA. I think they're going up against a Marshall team that's only losses to CASEY-WESTFIELD. And when I talked to Coach Joseph, he compared them exactly to Central A&M. They've got a 1,000-yard rushing QB, a big-time rushing running back who's back from injury this week. And if everybody remembers, Trojans could not defend the run, couldn't get off the field defensively. And my thought going into this is MAROA's going to have no trouble defending the run. They were kind of battling some injuries going into that A&M game, not to make too many excuses. And they played to defend the pass quite a bit, Coach Joseph said, so they're going to be ready to defend the run. They're going to be able to do it well, like they did last year when they played Marshall.
Right, and Marshall really struggled stopping the big play last year, and I think that MAROA even relies a little bit more on the big play this year than they did last year. So, Marshall's going to have to prove they can stop that. Another a pick for me, I'm going to kind of put two teams in here. I think the two teams that have the biggest blowouts this week are Casey against Carmi-White County and St. Teresa over the Oneida-Rova Mid-County Co-op. It's a co-op with Galva, and basically these are two 1A schools that have co-opted, and now we're a 3A school. Just aren't used to seeing the type of competition that they're going to see in St. Teresa. And Casey's always blows their team out in the first round, and they will again this year.
We didn't talk about this. It's funny. You go with those two. I'm going with TUSCOLA, the biggest blowout of the weekend. Okay. That's my pick over Carrollton, 5-4 team. They lost 62-12 to Mount Sterling Brown County, a team TUSCOLA beat in the playoffs last year on the road. I don't think TUSCOLA is too happy about falling after that one loss still. I think they're out to prove something, really go on a dominant run through 1A. I'm expecting a 60-point win out of the Warriors this weekend. So really laying it on Carrollton, starting out postseason with some fireworks.
Well, TUSCOLA's had their share of success against the WIVC schools in the playoffs. They had lost to Trilopy a couple of years ago, but that's the only one. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good call there, actually.
I appreciate it. Looking ahead, also, just a game that the biggest game we're looking forward to. What's on the tab for you, Justin?
I'm going to PANA Friday night. They're going to host the Macomb Bombers. I covered Macomb at one time way back in the day.
This is your wheelhouse right here.
But they always had athletes, and since even since I've left that area, you'll run into those teams, and they're always athletic. I know they don't play the caliber of schedule they used to, but their losses were good to really good teams. I believe it was Quincy Notre Dame and Illini West, the Carthage consolidation that were two of those losses. So, they've seen good teams. They haven't beat a good team, and PANA's obviously a really good team. Sure. So I like PANA in this one if we're going to throw out another prediction, but this is one of the best matchups of the weekend for sure.
Yeah, another really good one. I'm going to be at Mount Zion for Mount Zion Bloomington Central Catholic, and the Braves really don't get any time to breathe. They've got to really reload for this game, and they're looking to make a statement after Freeburg, the first-round loss last year, and this is a tough matchup for them. BCC beat Mahomet Seymour earlier this year, a team that Mount Zion lost its first game of the year. Mount Zion might beat Mahomet right now, 9 weeks after week one, but it's going to be a tough game for Mount Zion, and if they win, Metamora is likely lurking. So just really some tough competition, and I know that Dave Smith just really wants to get a playoff win under their belt, and that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup after last year, after losing that first round game. You go 8-1. You like to get in there and get a victory there to kind of erase that memory, and then it's Bloomington Central Catholic, who I know is 6-3, but you look at that score, that Mahomet score, and it's a little scary because they beat Mahomet pretty good. So that's it's going to be a tough one, and if Mount Zion, they'll be able to move the ball like we've talked about a lot, but it's just they can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, they've got to play a pretty good game. Like we said, we're going to be at it all weekend. Yeah. Make sure you check out hrpreps.com. We'll have videos from a couple games and be blogging, so make sure you check it out and join in on the fun.